was less of a man than I am today, so when I was a young boy, I did a lot of things, as young boys usually do. I would jump off cliffs, catch alligator snapping turtles, pogo stick up and down stairs, and perhaps worst of all, climb dead trees and jump in them until they'd break. Needless to say, I made one or two mistakes, or three or four. Very many mistakes. And I still do. We all do. Some worse than others, but we do. Like that one time I thought I'd be perfectly fine doing a front flip while jump roping. Once again, we all make errors. In 1788, the Austrian army accidentally attacked itself and lost 10,000 men. Bet you feel pretty good about spilling the milk or burning the casserole now. Mistakes. They fill our days and lives, and yet there's nothing we can really do about it. Is this a bad thing? Let us delve into the life of mistakes. Caution, several mistakes were made in the making of this speech. Not everything you hear will be recommended by myself. Personal examples should not be attempted by any other individual ever again. The examples I use are illustrating what not to be like. If you have any questions, don't ask. That's against the rules. I'll get disqualified. If you have to go to the bathroom, you should have done it before I came in. Talk to your doctor if you suffer from earlobe pains. It's probably not my fault, but once again, mistakes are made. Point 1. The definition of mistake. Error, fault, inaccuracy, omission, slip, blunder, miscalculation, misinterpretation, oversight, acorn, informal slip-up, blooper, goof, fail, boo-boo. In our modern society, we have decided that mistakes determine who we are, which makes us scared to mess up. When we throw a bottle with intentions for the trash can and miss, oh, fail. Or if you're trying to jump over a stump and trip on the way over, ending up on your face, fail. And even in our scholastic tests, we see that the lowest level is that circled red F. I once went for a jog. Keyword, once. Anyway, I came back to the aroma of mac and cheese. It was on the counter. So I get out my bowl, I overfill my bowl, and I set it on the counter. I take out the milk and I set it on the counter next to my bowl. I get a cup and I pour the milk in my bowl. I flubbed. Messed up. If our mistakes define who we are, does this mean I'm a bowl of soggy, milky macaroni? Now I know this example seems a bit cheesy, but do our mistakes define us? Winston Churchill says, success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. We may trip and fall or accidentally dislocate your brother's vertebrae while trying to pole vault over a creek, using a croquet mallet duct taped to a baseball bat with intentions of reaching the other side of the stream. But it worked. You got across. The point is we learn from our mistakes. If we don't take the right steps to get to success, we will never get there. Point 2, the things we do. When I was 7 years old, again, a young boy, there was nothing that gave me more joy than destroying things. One year, my grandparents came to visit, and they gave my little brother and I a bright red, brand spanking new toy red truck. The first thing they did when they left is take it behind the house and play one of my favorite games, Destructo Brothers. Here's a question. How many hits with a sledgehammer does it take to dematerialize a bright red, brand spanking new toy monster truck? 43. But we didn't take into account one small detail. My grandma had left her gloves on the table behind the house. So they came back to get them naturally, only to stop short and witness two boys, again, we were young, smashing the living tar out of a bright red, brand spanking new toy monster truck. The only thing we could think to say was, I love you. Needless to say, we wrote apology letters, and we made a few mistakes. 1, we should have waited longer to destroy it. 2, we were not wearing protective eye gear. And 3, a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old with a sledgehammer, not very smart. Transition sage. But you gotta give us credit for quick thinking on our feet. Such skill and excuses.
I love you.
It's gold. Moving on. What is one of the greatest inventions ever in the history of the world and mankind and infinity? Obviously, the slinky. The inventor of this brilliant mechanism was Richard Jones, a naval engineer. But what was he trying to create? Duh, obviously a meter designed for monitoring power on naval battleships. But how was it created? Jones was working with tension springs when one of them fell off the table and just kept bouncing from place to place, and the slinky was born. This was an accident that has been repeated over and over and over for centuries. Silly pudding, Play-Doh, penicillin, chocolate chip cookies, potato chips, my brother. The list could go on and on and on, but what is the point behind these facts? If we don't learn from our mistakes, what do we gain? Albert Einstein says, failure is success in motion. Now, this is the man who created the theory of relativity. So in order to understand something so complex, you first must understand how to mess up. That's right. One of the hardest things we can do is mess up the right way. Anyone can make a mistake. But in order for us to learn from our mistakes, but in order for us to get anywhere, we have to be able to learn from our mistakes. It'd be like that time my brother and I tried to create a raft using a bicycle and a t-shirt used as a sail. It didn't work. So we changed up our design, tried something slightly different, and it still failed. So I tried lightening the load. I threw my brother off, and he pulled me off, and together our raft could float. So we used more wood and more bicycles, and eventually we were able to get our raft to float. Now, I know this example sails far beyond most obstacles that you'll come across, but it's the idea of being able to swim in your slip-ups. Sometimes all we can do is learn from our mistakes so that we can create memories that we cherish later. Let's take a brief moment to acknowledge something we like to call stupid mistakes. We all make them. We can't stop them. And let's face it, they're just straight up embarrassing. It's like when you spell your own name wrong. That, for me, goes beyond stupidity. Or my mom's personal favorite, when she is desperately looking for her cell phone, and she's on it. Or when you trip on your sock that is on your foot. That did not happen to me this morning. A brief moment of silence for those of us who continue to look stupid. Ironic. Moving on, Thomas Edison says, I did not create the light bulb in 1,000 failures. The light bulb was an invention with 1,000 steps. Point 3. When we first learn to walk, we fall. When we try to walk the second time, guess what? We still fall. When we try to create the theory of relativity, we fail. When we try to create a plane, we fail. When we try to create a light bulb, we will fail. But we can walk. We can fly. We have lights. And we can understand the theory of relativity. Well, so we can change the world. Not only that, we've been to the moon. We can change the universe. Albert Einstein was right when he said that failure is success in motion. When we mess up, it shows that we know how to pull up to the scene of life and say, I am the master commander. And when we look to the Bible, Isaiah 41:10 says, Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I will help you. For I am your God, I will strengthen you and uphold you with my righteous right hand. Now, I totally butchered that line, but even if you were to understand it for what I said, it still sends the tingle chills up your back. Here we have the creator of the universe who is willing to help us every single way, every single day, and every single way that we fall. Psalms 37:24 says, Though he will fall, he shall not be cast headlong, for the Lord upholds his hand. We have an amazing God who understands our fear to mess up and helps us to find success. So yes, in the end, you will butcher a speech, and you will do poorly, you'll forget your lines, you'll trip on your own 2 feet, pour milk in your mac and cheese, and look like a fool. It will happen. But we have the creator of everything, even mistakes, on our side. Thanks, guys.